All right, all right. What's happening, everybody? Thank you guys for jumping on with us again for another episode of Expert Mentors Live. And man, I'm super excited for this week's episode. We're at episode 17, which is pretty dang cool. And something that we've been doing week in and week out, obviously for the last 17 weeks. And really, Expert Mentors is just giving us the platform and the space to be able to tap into the power of Honey Badger Nation and the fast forward movement and all the rock stars that we have within these communities. And what's so cool is that there are so many amazing people that just want to give back and share within the community. And today's post for the call, Daniel Beer commented on it, and just he's been the driving force. Him and Kyle grabbed Kinder and myself early on and said, hey, we need to do something to tap into the horsepower and really leverage the power of the community to give back. And that's what we've done. So hopefully you guys are taking advantage of these weekly trainings, not only, for yourself, for your teams, leveraging it for possible, recruiting efforts into your downline within EXP as well. But that's really what Expert Mentors is about. So this week we're going to jump in with my main man here, Daniel Puz. And Daniel is out of Reno, but coming to us live and direct from Las Vegas today. He's actually up there to spend a little time with Mr. Michael Reese, and I believe Daniel Beer's there as well for the event they're doing in Vegas. So I appreciate you making it happen and jumping on and joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And any chance I get to go see those two hitters, I'm going to get to Las Vegas from Reno. It's about an hour.
Not bad. That's awesome. So
about Reno, yeah. Funny thing about Reno is people think it's about an hour away from Las Vegas. It's actually, across the frickin' state. So it's quite a haul.
Yeah, definitely. So cool. Awesome, man. So why don't you, I know we kind of shared when we were pushing the call a little bit of information about you, and man, I would love for you to tell your story, because it ties right into, I know the value that you're going to bring for everybody today. And so, man, let's dive in and let's start there and kind of talk about your story and where you were before you got into the business, and then now, kind of fast forward up to today.
Yeah, I remember the moment I was going to go into real estate. It wasn't exactly real estate I was sure I was going to do, but I was managing a restaurant, and we were making money, new customer in. You're doing right now. We have one issue. You're making too much money. And I was like, too much money? It was just the wrong thing to tell me at the time. I'm like looking to expand and make more money. And this guy's telling me, yeah, we need to reduce your salary to fit the average budget for what a manager like you should be making this restaurant. And that was the moment I said, you know what? I am never again going to work a job where somebody's going to tell me that I'm making too much money and they want me to reduce my pay to an average salary. Average and making too much money, it just didn't go together for me well. Fast forward, I left that place and ended up moving to Reno, Nevada. I took a job at a casino. It was the first place I applied for. It was the first place that hired me. I just make decisions. So it wasn't, the pay was terrible. It was
Hey Daniel, you're cutting out on us pretty bad. I don't know. I know the connection. You want to maybe kill your video and see if that'll help. That way we can just still capture the audio.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. We
got
going?
Yep, I got you.
Okay. Anyway, fast forward, moved to Reno, Nevada, where I was for $1 a year. Basically, it was taking home barely enough money to get by on my bills. in the meantime, I decided after leaving the restaurant that I was going to go into some sort of sales job. And I just got lucky that I met somebody in real estate who told me to get into real estate. And I started studying. It took me 6 months to get my license because I'm a slow studier, and finally got my license and started working the real estate side of things. It was very, very slow and very hard getting started in the real estate business. So I would I would leave the restaurant. I'd work at the casino from 6 in the morning until 3 to 4 in the afternoon, and go knock doors for the rest of the day until sun went down, for month after month after month. Half the time I'd get off of work at the casino and then I'd go fall asleep in my car for 30 minutes before I'd, get up the nerve to get out of my car and go knock doors, to try to. Back when I started, there was nobody in my organization at Keller Williams that was actually doing any door knocking or cold calling. For going out and doing that. I had people tell me not to do it. People told me get shot if you're out in Reno knocking doors. People are like, yeah, that's not effective. Well, eventually, after 6 months, I finally got a couple of deals into escrow, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. So it was definitely wasn't the easiest transition to make it from the casino into real estate, working 50 hours a week at one job, and then trying to make the real estate hustle happen on the side.
Man, that's crazy, right? That just goes to show you. And the thing that just grabbed my attention right out of the gate, and I hope everybody else was listening, is that, man, don't ever let anyone put a limit on your potential. And that's just the spark, right? That most people need, that are hungry as hell. That man, when you hear that, that's just a fire, and that says a lot. I mean, that explains a lot for me. Just your drive, and I know what you're going to get into with everybody here, as we continue through this call. So that was awesome, man. And damn, that's a hustle on another level, right? And it's not like being smart. I know what you're about to get into. So it's just like, man, whatever it takes, right? Just whatever it takes. So cool. So we're knocking doors, still there. Talk about where the transition was to where you were able to let go of that restaurant monkey bar.
Yeah. So I told myself that once I had 3 deals in escrow, that I was going to quit the restaurant at the casino. And at the time, I mean, I had zero money in the bank. It was decide whether or not I was going to get gas for the day so I could drive to a neighborhood to knock doors, or if I was going to eat lunch that afternoon. It was rough. Eventually I got 3 deals into escrow, and I didn't know any better, but I just quit. I probably wouldn't have done that now, knowing how easy it is for deals to fall out of escrow, being that I had no money in the bank. I didn't even have a paycheck yet. I just said, I get 3 in escrow, I'm out. So 6 months, absolutely zero. I'm going in the office every day, knocking doors, and people are like, wow, you're doing all this work and you're not getting any escrows. And I'm like, and I just go out and do it again the next day. People who started with me at the same time were getting deals, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? I'm like, why is this so hard for me to go out there and knock these doors? I'm the only one out in the office doing the work that people told me to do, and everyone else is just doing the stuff. Eventually, what I didn't realize is people who I took their
Dang, we're losing you again, brother. All right, you there?
Yeah. Hey.
Okay.
Am I back on?
Yeah, I got you back.
All right. Yeah, perfect. Sorry. So eventually got out of the casino job just because I had 3 deals in escrow. Luckily, they all closed, and quit the job there and just went into real estate full time. So left the safety nest of working and getting a consistent paycheck to
getting compensated there. Yeah. On whatever you went and
So
nailed. Yeah.
the attitude was I am not going to go back to the casino and work in that buffet. I'm not going to listen to one more complaint that the coffee sucks and the prime ribs undercooked. I'll do whatever it takes to not have to go back and work that job and listen to complaints and do things that I just didn't want to do. So it was knock doors or you end up back at the casino. Which one are you going to choose? I'm like, I'm knocking doors. That's all I had. I didn't have any money, and knocking doors was free. I could do it all day long. And I figured there was going to be a paycheck behind one of those doors eventually if I knocked enough.
That's awesome. So you get to the end of your first year. Where was kind of the shift to be like, man, there's got to be a better way. I'm moving away from pounding on these doors.
Yeah, out here in Reno, we have extreme weather. We got snow, rain, really extreme heat, knocking doors out in the summertime. I mean, that's humping doors when people aren't answering. I figured out, well, I didn't figure out, I stole from another agent who I heard about making cold calls. And again, nobody in my office had made any cold calls. There was no dialer systems anybody knew about. People barely called expireds, maybe for sale by owners, if every once in a while. No, but I just saw an agent who was doing it. I'm like, I'm tired of being out in the heat already, so I'm going to transition into just making calls. And it was a lot of the same scripts I used while I was out knocking doors that I had success with also worked over the phone to just generate leads. But there is a difference and there is a learning curve just moving your method of lead generation from knocking doors over to getting on the telephone. It's a little bit tough. Have to build even more rapport and relationship before they do business with you. So that was another really steep learning curve that I took on. Eventually, I figured out I was much better on the phone than I was knocking doors because of my stature. I'm out knocking doors. I'm 220 pounds. Big white guy with a shaved head in a suit. People think I'm either there to sell them vacuum cleaners or talk about Jesus. So found out over the phone, people were willing to talk to me, and I started generating leads. And what's interesting is that, again, I didn't realize it when I was doing it. It felt like nothing worked. It felt like door knocking was almost impossible to get deals. It felt like making cold calls at first was impossible. I didn't realize that the people's, the names and the addresses and the phone numbers I'm taking down, the people I talked to the first week on the phone with no skills, really hardly any scripts, just making dials, ended up converting 6 months later. I just didn't have the foresight to see, keep adding people to your database, keep adding leads, keep doing the lead generation, keep following up. Eventually they start to turn, and then it just took off from there.
That's awesome. And man, that's so true, right? It is the essence of the delayed gratification, right? And so we always talk about really, you're cashing checks for what you did 90, 120 days earlier. And it's hard for people because it's so hard for people to understand delayed gratification. And that's such a key point right there, is the consistency, that if you maintain the discipline to stay consistent, constantly adding people and keep following up, deals are going to be there. So Daniel, talk to us a little bit about where where you started kind of making the shift from skills over to, focusing on that, where the learning was coming from, and then, kind of where you were capturing some of the data. We lose Daniel. We might have lost you, buddy. I think we lost you, dude. Yeah, we lost him. All right, so he'll call back in here in just a second. So the thing that I wanted to really hit on here for those of you guys on with us, and where what Daniel is really, talking in and talking about, all right, we got you back. There we go. Gotcha. Good.
Yeah, are we back in yet?
Oh yeah, we're good.
All right.
Much better.
Yeah, all right. So I just got off this computer, switching to too close for missiles, switching to guns. All right. All right. Back in. I actually don't remember where we were. Start me over, please.
So we were good. We were talking about just constantly adding of people, and then the constant follow up, and really understanding that the delayed gratification and what will happen to your pipeline. We're about a year. We're moving into your second year in the business, and really the habits and the disciplines that you're starting to develop.
Yeah, so I had started when I first started dialing. I started calling some expireds, and I was also doing a lot of circle prospecting. And circle prospecting or cold calling is probably the lowest return of investment for your time. You're just dialing tons and tons of people. I was building a business and building a database through expireds. Again, I didn't know how to really list expireds or how to go about it. I just started calling them. People told me to do it, and I just did the work that they told me to do. It wasn't, I wasn't afraid of doing the crap work or going out knocking doors. I was probably more afraid of, is what I'm doing actually going to pay off? Is it going to work? And that's the hardest part, is when you're starting out, you're new, you don't know if the work you're doing is going to pay off. But I followed the MREA, the red book that said, do this and do this and do this. And that's what I did. And so I kept doing the activities and kept putting people into my database. And all of the business just came from cold calls. Even when I look at my business now, even repeat and referral business, I trace it back to an expired I listed in my first year in the business. So expireds, for sale by owners, I mean, there's nothing sexy about it. There's really not. I just got on the phone every single day, whether I wanted to or not. And some days were a lot harder than others because nobody in my office was getting on the phone. I would be nervous that other people would hear me on the phone and come by later and talk some shit or make fun of me. It was kind of like, nobody was doing it in the office. I'm the only one. And, eventually people are telling me, hey, you know what? You might want to try something different because it doesn't look like it's working for you. But I just kept hammering it because that's what, the people who I looked up to in the industry, that's what they were doing. People were telling me not to do it. Well, I took a look at their track record. I'm like, yeah, I don't ever want to be that agent. So I wouldn't listen to them. So I just kept making the calls every day, putting people into the database. And that was basically how I started in the business that I have now, and getting more repeat and referral now. But even when I track it back, it all came from expireds, for sale by owners, or cold calls. That's just the nature of what I did.
So let's fast forward and let's really get into the routines and really what you're doing today. You're doing a lot of the same things today, right? I mean, we're working on priority wise, working on things to kind of transition, but talk about the discipline and the routine for everybody that you're really working through today.
Yeah. The one thing that I do really well, I don't do a lot of things well. The one thing I do is I have tunnel vision. So whatever I set a focus on, I just tend to narrow my vision down to and do it no matter what. So I have a lot of no matter what's that I do every single day. My no matter what's are, I'm getting up at 4:45 no matter what. So if I stayed up late and went to a country concert at 2 a.m. and got drunk and I'm hungover, I'm getting up at 4:45. Just there is no matter what. There's no negotiation with myself in the morning. My alarm clock goes off, I get up. I'm working out no matter what. Every single day I'm getting up, I'm working out. I'm going back to my house. I get ready for work. the suit goes on, it's game time. It's like the suit goes on, that's your jersey, you're putting it on for the day, you're going out on the field. I go grab a bite to eat, and then it's in the office, and I'm calling expireds by 7:45 a.m. every single day without fail. And I'm going to do my prospecting until noon, no matter what. So if something comes up where it just pulls you away, you just make up the difference later. You make up the difference in the afternoon. But we have a rule in my office, and that's we do not leave the office between certain times unless it's a come list me now. It has to be this minute appointment. Other than that, we don't leave the office. We don't break that. We don't break that code for anything. So our prospecting will get done. That is a no matter what. We will make our certain number of contacts a day. We have a standard. We hit it. There's no negotiating, saying, oh, I did really good yesterday. I took 2 listings and I did this. Doesn't matter. What's the standard? Standard is you're going to call and talk to 60 expireds. That's the standard. Call them. Talk to 60 expireds. And it doesn't matter what you did the day before. It matters what your standard is and are you going to hit it. That's it.
That's it, man. That's all. That is awesome. So, I mean, you have that, man, that discipline, that structure. Now, is that Monday through Friday? What rolls in morning wise on over the weekend for you?
Same thing on waking up and going to work out. It's every day, every single day. I wake up and I go to the gym no matter what. That's going to get done. Saturday, I structure my days a little bit different where I leave open the afternoon for things that I want to do in real estate, and the morning is for appointments. So I'll hit appointments Saturday morning. Usually 9 o'clock is when people are waking up on Saturday to 12, 1 or 2. And then I leave the rest of the afternoon for things that I want to do in real estate, which may not be really that fun or effective, or, things like doing the books and, things that need to get done and just random crap. So the mornings are very structured, but the afternoons, I say I leave them open for chaos, because in the mornings when you get up at 4:45, I try not to check my email, answer phone calls. I don't go on Facebook and look at, what garbage posts people are putting up there to get you into an argument or to get you off track. I leave it all until noon. By noontime, my phone, I've got 18 voice messages from, a minute to 3 minutes long. I don't even listen to them. I just start calling each person back one by one at noon and just start putting out fires for the day. And the afternoon is for putting out fires and going on appointments. So if there are no fires, which is rare, and that's cool, or if there are no appointments, which sucks, my punishment for the day is get back on the phone for the rest of the day until it's time to go home at 7.
Till we hit those appointments. And you said something, and you shared this with me that, what you're listening to and even what you're putting in your head, right? You caught yourself at the gym listening to whatever, and you're like, oh man, what am I doing starting my day this way? And you made that, man, share that with everybody. That was a huge get.
Yeah, that was something interesting we talked about on a coaching call, John. And I realized in the mornings, I go to the gym, I lift heavy weights. I run until I basically fall off a treadmill or fall off a stair mill every single day. And I like to listen to metal. I love listening to Slayer and Pantera. What I realized is later on in the day, I'm humming tunes to Slayer with lyrics that are just awful. And they're in my head, they're coming out in a delightful way. I'm like, yeah, Slayer, Angel of Death, and I'm like, man, I cannot poison my mind with this crap in the morning, because it just shapes your attitude for the rest of the day. And so the adjustment I had to make is because I realized I'm driving to work sometimes in a bad mood or too fired up to be on a, friendly real estate call with grandma. I had to listen to, more positive things in the morning, nicer guitar music. I had to listen to podcasts, put something on motivational, inspirational. And I'll tell you, I think the best things I ever did is called a media-free morning. Just don't even turn on the news. Don't piss yourself off. Don't start thinking about how stupid everybody else is in the world. Leave that for later in the afternoon when you have time and you're ready to, wind down for the day, or just not at all, period. Just stay away from that negativity. But, no fights with the wife or the girlfriend first thing in the morning. Everything is just on point, right? Your routine is your routine. You don't break it for anybody. Stay off your emails. Don't become reactive to what people want you to do. Agents are sending you emails. I need this. And then you're reacting. And then next thing you know, you spend an hour chasing down a problem that could have waited until 2 or 3 o'clock, and your lead generation didn't get done. And then that cycles into your standards just got lower. Your lower standard is now, hey, I will take emails and I will chase down problems for other people instead of doing what's most important to us, which is keeping the momentum, the routine, and getting that lead generation done.
I love it, man. It's awesome. Those are just dropping nuggets. So hopefully everybody was capturing all of that, man. That was absolute gold. Hey, for any of you guys on, if you got any questions for us, any questions for Daniel, anything that you want some insight on, clarity on, throw it up in the chat, throw it in the Q&A. Yolita's asking, hey, Daniel, what dialer system are you using right now?
There's a lot of dialer systems out there to use. I'll share with you the one that I like and I use the most. Mojo dialer, mojocells.com. Get the 3-line dialer. Don't even mess around with any of the other options. You dial 3 lines at one time, and it's been pretty efficient and effective to get through a large list of phone numbers. And they have a decent back office system for people to use. And that's what I've been using for 4.5 years now.
Are you getting their data, or what data are you using to call on expireds?
Cole Realty. I use Cole Realty Resource. There's a lot of options out there. I'm just telling you guys what I use. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I use Cole Realty Resource, and in the past, I've even used the numbers right off of Mojo. They're not great, but it doesn't matter. You just got to get a live body on the phone to talk to you, and it doesn't matter where they're at. They may know somebody in another state, or they may have property somewhere else that you can talk to them about and get a referral from an agent in another state away. You just got to get live people on the phone. So don't worry if you get data with wrong names and wrong phone numbers. Sure, it helps, makes you feel more comfortable when you ask for John and it's actually John on the phone. At the same time, you just get some data, start making the dials. And that's what most people won't do. They worry about getting the dialer. They worry about who they're calling. They're worrying about being perfect on the phone. It's like, no, just make the call.
Get
on the phone.
It's motion versus action, right? So people get stuck in motion by getting hung up on what dialer do I need? What data do I need? When do I need to call? Where's the perfect script, right? They're always in motion. Now it's okay to do some things to get in motion, man, but you got to take action. So Yolita's asking, and we also had somebody else ask, what scripts are you using right now?
I've used a bunch of scripts over time. I'm just going to give everybody the most easy. Get the Mike Ferry scripts. I've got NAEA scripts. And the scripts should all do a few things very effectively. They should all find out when you're doing discovery with somebody on the phone, you're calling. It depends on what you're calling for, but I'm just going to take a circle prospecting call. Find out what their motivation is to move, if any, what their timeline is. Would they consider interviewing as an agent when they are ready to sell? Clear contact information and time to follow up. And your scripts question should have those things in there. Kind of, we could do 10 episodes on scripts and what I think is cool and what I think doesn't work. But those are the basics. If your scripts are asking those questions, those are the scripts that I would use. If they stray too far from that, you may be flushing leads down the toilet.
Yeah, for sure. And man, you nailed it right there. Man, you identified what is a qualified person to follow up with, right? You got all of your data points and it doesn't matter. It's all built into your script to be able to capture that information.
Yeah. John, you know where I stole that from?
Where's that?
ISA boot camp, man. I still got that big blue book sitting on my desk. Yep. I take a look at that and share it with anybody who starts with me. Hey, this is what we're doing. We're on the phone. These are our goals. This is what's a qualified lead. That's good information.
That's awesome, man. Hey, so we got another question. Connect with people really well, and we have a great conversation, but how do you know when to ask for the appointment?
Great. The time to ask for an appointment, to me on the phone, there's an effective way and a less effective way to do it. And I know when it's time to ask for an appointment on the phone because it's the logical conclusion to a great conversation. It's really simple. They have motivation. They have a time that they need to move. And it's usually, if that's within 90 days, we'll go ahead and set the appointment to meet with them. Even if they're not ready to meet today, we will set the expectation that we will be meeting with them in the future. If they have all those things in line that we talked about, then it just makes sense. It's like, hey, it sounds like you need to be in Alaska by October 1st. Great. You are moving there because your grandkids are born and now you want to be closer to them at home. You'd really like to get this house sold and be out there. Wouldn't you? Yeah, absolutely. Great. It sounds like we should get together, take a look at your property and see how we can get you the most money in the least amount of time. Just stuff like that. And, you know, it's a real simple formula. It's just logical. Hey, you got to move. We sell real estate. Let's get together and take a look at this property, see how we can help you. And you'll get nervous and you'll start to freeze up and maybe not ask those harder questions about meeting with people when it's not the logical solution for that person. You start forcing an appointment, you'll start to get nervous. And sometimes I do it on purpose. Sometimes I will know that I'm probably not likely to get them to say yes, but I'll throw it in there anyway. Sometimes you get lucky. You know, you don't swing the bat, you're not hitting a home run. So, you know, every once in a while I'm like, I can tell there's not really an appointment here, but I'm going to ask. And then what do you know? There was an appointment there. I just had to ask, right? So don't psych yourself out. You're going to get more appointments by asking for appointments than not asking or waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There really isn't. So, you know, if you're in doubt, ask for the appointment. That's it.
Right. You know, I go back to one of the many laws of Michael Reese, and his, you know, it's always, if you don't ASK, you don't GET. So you got to make sure that you're at least going to ask.
Absolutely.
How much is too much follow up?
Your motivation has to match their motivation as well. So if you're, you know, if you're way over the top and way too energetic and they're, you know, a year out from selling, they're probably going to get rid of you. So make sure your motivation matches their motivation. If they're looking to sell within 90 days, that follow-up system and the amount of follow-up you're going to do should be a lot tighter, should be a lot stronger, a lot less time in between contacts than somebody who's, you know, a year or 2 years out. If I need to get a listing right now and sell this house, and you're like, hey, I'm going to meet you in 3 days from now, you're going to lose that. I mean, they're just going to go find the agent who will come over that minute. So match your motivation to them, and whatever their motivation is, take it up a little, you know, take it up a notch. More follow. You're going to lose way more deals from not following up enough than you'll ever lose by following up too much. So, I mean, little bit of a trick question. There is a balance. I don't believe in bombarding people with crap that they don't want to see just to stay top of mind. Follow up with stuff that provides value and try to match their motivation and just take it up a little bit of a notch above that. If they're 6 months out, you probably don't need to call them every week. You know, you got to ratchet it down a little bit. If they're selling in 30 days, you're probably going to be calling them every day. So, you know, it's not one size fits all for me.
That's gold though, man. I mean, if just hopefully everybody wrote that one down, man. That's definitely a writer downer, is, you know, your motivation has to match their motivation. So that was gold. Are you working with any buyers right now?
No, I haven't. Me personally?
Yeah.
No, I haven't worked a buyer in 3 years.
Yep. So give a little bit of context, kind of the team dynamic right now for you, that you're running with right now.
Yeah, right now I have myself and I have a TC assistant. I have my ISA who's in there working, and a buyer's agent. And 100% of my deals, this is a question, I'm just bringing this up because it's a question people kind of bring up or they screw up every once in a while. I don't cherry pick my buyer deals. I give 100% of my buyers, even if they are past and repeat clients who know me very well, I give them to my buyer's agent. I feed them those deals. And I found that a lot of other agents will cherry pick the buyers that they know are home runs and are real easy. They'll take those out and go do the deal themselves. And no matter what, they're getting all the buyer deals. it wasn't really an accident that I started out just taking listings, because I primarily have only listed property now my whole career. I read the MREA and it said leads, listings, and leverage, not buyers, showings, and writing offers, right? So I just went after listings. That's all I did. That was the only thing on my mind, was get my sign in someone's yard. You know, I used to drive down streets and vision my sign in somebody's yard. I'm like, yeah, I want more signs in this neighborhood. I want to go out here. You know, still to this day, it's a lot of fun to be hammering in your own sign. You know, some people have assistants do it, but I actually like to get out there and hammer in that sign. It's like, yeah, victory.
Yeah, it is. It is the victory. So
yeah.
No, that's awesome. So any other questions you guys have, throw them in. We appreciate it. The engagement is awesome. So thank you for all of you guys on with us. And for those listening to the recording, man, drop the questions in the comments, and definitely we'll get back with you. So Daniel, talk through kind of, you know, some of the let's give them kind of your top musts that, you know, anybody and everybody, and I mean this applies for you with Tucker. It applies with anybody that comes in your organization. What are some, like, hey, these are the top key principles, these are the top key things to be successful in what we do?
Yeah, I could give my quick smart ass answer, but I'll try to break that down a little bit. And it's, I mean, you got to have energy, and you got to have drive. The people who I've seen who are doing the best in my mind come from a sort of no-fail situation, kind of like how I felt when I'm leaving a job or they're coming in. They have to get moving. They have to. It's not a maybe. It's not a, well, if I fail, I can go back to Starbucks. It's like, I'm not failing and I'm going to get after it. And that's the attitude that I'm looking for with people who come in. I'm looking for people who just don't have any quit in them. I can tell, you know, within a day or two, if, you know, by the way, I ask for them to do something, I can tell by the reaction, by the attitude. So you've got to be willing to get yourself uncomfortable and then not pay attention to how you feel about things. And that's really it. If you can ignore your feelings on being scared and just do the work anyway, ignore the fact that you don't feel like going out and knocking doors, ignore the fact that you don't feel like waking up early. You just do the work, have a good attitude, and be in a no-fail situation. Those are kind of the things that I share with our team on a daily basis. We have a hashtag in our office on the wall, and it's hashtag FYF. And Anna put that up there, my fiance, and it was hashtag fuck your feelings. And it's basically just saying, hey, anytime you don't feel like doing something that you know you should be doing, quit thinking about how you feel about it and just do it. You know, if your standard is that you have no dishes in the sink and you walk by and there's dishes, do the dishes. Doesn't matter if it's 9 o'clock and you feel like relaxing, do it. You know, and that's the standard. No dishes, no dishes. You know, our standard is lead generation. You know, I don't feel like doing it today. You know, FYF, man. Hey, get to it. So we kind of throw that around the office. Oh, I don't want to call this guy. I've called him too many times. Hey, FYF. It's all in your head. Make that call, you know.
You'll never feel your way into action. You take action on no matter what you're feeling. I love that. FYF. Man, I've seen you hit that in a little bit. I mean, I've been meaning to ask you, what the hell is that? So
yeah.
Gold right there. I love it. Was that Anna? Did she do that?
Yeah. I made a little Snapchat the other day, and I was just kind of trying to pump the team up. And I said that, you know, and she went ahead and made a hashtag out of it and put it on the wall. And now we just throw it around anytime someone's like, hey, I didn't feel like doing this morning. In fact, a little shout out to Tucker, who's on my team. He sent me a Snapchat of 3 broken ribs from wakeboarding in Lake Tahoe on Sunday. And I'm like, damn, man, that sucks. Is he going to make excuses? Is he going to say I can't come to work? He texts me, he Snapchats me the next day. He's like, hey, 3 broken ribs taped up. I'm at the gym anyway. And I'm like, FYF, brother. You know, I was like, get some. You know, I loved it.
That's awesome, man. So I want you, so Jennifer brought up a really good question. Talk about some of the top marketing that you're focused on. And this ties right into a golden nugget for everybody on the call. The the strategy to penetrate a new market, exactly what you're executing on right now. And man, kind of share what that focus is, what we're doing, what the marketing looks like, kind of the call efforts, and as we're penetrating into a new market.
Okay. So this is an area that you guys are helping me out a lot with now, because like I've said before, my focus is so tunnel vision that I get onto one track and it's hard for me to get off that track. And for me, it was just making calls. In fact, I would make so many calls, it pissed me off if I set appointments, because I had to leave the office to stop making calls. So it was like, I've got to get out of that mindset of this is all I do and expand if I want to grow the business and expand into things I'm not comfortable with. And for me, it was a geo farm and, just an area of town. And it was the last thing I wanted to do. I don't want to farm, because I've heard all, the wins and the fails, but I was just being short-sighted about it. So what we've been working on is taking over a farm area in a certain part of town. And what that looks like is an attack from all different areas, whether, it's going to be physical mail, it's going to be phone calls, it's going to be signs in yards, and it's going to be getting them on social media. And so what that looks like is we will get a new listing in the neighborhood. We're going to make a round of calls, and we're going to send out a piece of mail. And so everyone's going to get the mail. They're going to get the phone call. They're going to get another piece of mail when the home closes. They're going to get another phone call. And in between, we're going to take the data that we have from Cole Realty, which has names, phone numbers, and we put it all into a Facebook geographic area that we can target specifically with those ads. So if it's a just sold, you can run a just sold Facebook ad. Here's our value. Here's what we can do for you to help you get the most money for your home, save you money in repairs, get you top dollar. We list out all these different values that you get, and a call to action, which is, book here, schedule a free consultation on how to get your home sold for the most amount of money. So it's coming from mail, phone calls, door knocking, personal mail. So we'll actually send out, a letter. Hey, this is what we can do for you in the neighborhood. That's not just a just listed, just sold postcard. We handwrite all the addresses on all the envelopes to make sure they open it. Because how often you get a piece of mail that's addressed in an envelope to you, handwritten these days, pretty rare. So we know everybody's opening it. And that's been our strategy. And we've seen some success with it already. And it's only been, maybe a month? Yeah, it's just barely a month. We've had people calling in, taking listings in the neighborhood, say, hey, we did get your mail and we are excited to sell our home. Can you come out and meet with us?
Yeah, and we were Daniel. They were really strategic about going after that area as well. It wasn't just a flip a coin. It was really thought through to go after him. And hopefully you guys caught what he was sharing there. It's true force multiplier effect, right? We're hitting them land, air, sea. Flank attack, hitting them from the side. I mean, we're hitting them in all the ways that we possibly can, because you've got to keep in mind, our clients, our prospects, people, man, it's the old, distraction enemy out there. What do we have? Over 4,000 different distractions, ads trying to get our attention each and every day. So you have to hit them from multiple different angles to be able to have that opportunity to get on, to have a conversation, then ultimately to get face to face. Mary Simmons Maloney did a great Expert Mentors Live with us, episode 9 on geo farming. For those of you that maybe missed her episode, it'd be a good one to go back and see some of the stuff that she does to grow her business in San Diego. And also, what Daniel just shared with you guys is just what it takes to penetrate into a new market.
Right. And, all the marketing that we're doing and all this stuff, it just ties into, what does it do? It creates an opportunity for us to have a conversation with a possible seller. So people ask me all the time, hey, I'm never going to make a cold call. Like, don't even ask me to do it. I'm like, okay, I'm not asking you to do anything. But should I still learn these scripts? And the answer is, hell yeah, you should still learn these scripts, and you should still learn these dialogues. Are you ever going to do an open house? Are you ever going to call a past client? Are you ever going to call a friend or family member and ask them for business? Are you ever going to meet someone at Home Depot You have to know how to lead someone through a conversation so you can help them discover their goals and then be able to provide a value proposition so that it makes sense to do business with you.
I love it. Hey, kind of break down how you went about choosing that new target area that you're going after that you just shared.
Okay. So it was a neighborhood. First of all, I'll start out. It was a neighborhood that I liked. I just liked the area. I liked the homes. It was a middle price point. So it wasn't, the super luxury end. It wasn't the bottom end. Middle price point, neighborhood I liked, and it had good turnover, meaning that a certain number of homes would sell in that neighborhood. We found it, I think when we did the math, it was 10 or 12%, which is pretty good. They say the minimum you should go after is 7% turnover in a neighborhood. This neighborhood had high turnover.
Yep.
And it was an area where I knew there wasn't anyone who was dominating this neighborhood. There wasn't one agent in there already who was dominating the neighborhood. I mean, even if there was, I may have tried it anyway, just because I'm competitive, but at the same time, makes it a lot easier when someone else isn't blasting them with Facebook ads, mail, phone calls and everything else. So that's how I picked it. And there was a lot of areas I could have chosen from. I just happen to like this area.
Yeah, that helps too, man. You like the area, it's got good quality product on the ground that you feel good putting clients in or selling. I mean, it's that helps for sure. And man, that's a gold turnover rate too. I know, like for us, when we dominated Pecan Valley up in Lawton, I mean, man, it was like 6% turnover. That was like one of the best. And so we went with it for a couple reasons, but that turnover was 6, and we felt good about it. And we checked all of those boxes as well, right? Like the area, Kinder lived in the area. That's one of the reasons we leveraged that. And then it was a high price point for our market for us. So that was when you're pushing $100,000 houses, man, you're always looking for a little bit of an advantage. And then there was really no dominant agent. So I love that breakdown. So Sterling, hopefully that was helpful. Cool. Man, any other key takeaways or things that you really want to point out for folks to kind of take away from today's training? Did I lose you?
Still on?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, great. Yeah, sorry about the bad connection. Didn't expect to be in a juice bar trying to do a webcast. So, yeah, I mean, the key points that I can just share with anyone is do the work you don't want to do. I mean, it's usually going to be the things that you don't want to do every day that are going to be the most productive. And for us, I'm just going to share for us, it is getting into the office as a team every day and doing our lead generation. If we do that, we have a great chance of being successful. It's not even a question as to whether or not we're going to be successful. It's almost just, it's going to happen now. If we do this, the result will be this. It's predictable. Eat that frog. That book, Eat the Frog in the morning, right? You do the hardest things first thing in the morning, get them out of the way, turn off your phones, get that lead generation done, get that business cycle fired up and primed and ready for the next 60, 90, 120 days out. So where I'm at today with the time of the year, something that's working really well for our team right now on our scripts is when we're calling neighborhoods, we're just calling random people. We're getting ready for 2019. As far as we're concerned, 2018's over. We're getting ready for springtime and summer of 2019. I mean, it's not over, but we're looking for leads that are going to be turning over in spring and summer of next year. We called the neighborhoods and we asked, hey, this is Dan from eXp Realty. We're giving you a quick call, see if you may consider to sell your home next year. What's really interesting, I don't know why it happened, but why it works so well is people are like, oh, next year? No, we're thinking of selling in 2 months. So they'll actually correct you. If you're too far out, they actually started correcting us, say, no, we're planning to sell in 30 days. We're planning to sell, in January. They'll let you know when they are planning to sell if you put it too far out, because I don't know, maybe it creates a thing in their mind where they don't want to miss out on an opportunity or they're thinking about it. And it's not the same as the question is, are you planning to sell your home? Because then people think right now, as in today, I'm not selling my home. And then you'd have to ask the follow-up question, well, if you were to sell your home, when would that be? We just go straight, hey, would you consider selling your home next year? That script's working really well for us. Hopefully you guys can implement it, or someone can try it out. And we're getting leads ready to go for next year. So everybody's, on fire, like, hey, we know November, December, January, we have a lot of snow on the ground. It's hard to get listings. Every listing or every lead we get that says they're looking to sell within the next 3 to 4 months is going to be the start to our next year, and treat all those leads like super triple X gold right now, because that is going to be, that'll be paychecks in those harder months. So that's what we're doing today, getting ready for 2019.
Man, that's gold right there. And that's definitely easy to take and easy to implement. I think it, just that question, asking them later, asking them, are you moving next year, thinking of next year, man, it just lowers their barrier, right? It's just like, this guy ain't trying to sell me something today. So
yeah, not today,
but I got you next year. So that's good, man. It's definitely embracing the delayed gratification. It's definitely putting in the work each and every day. I love, man, I got pages of notes, and I get the opportunity to talk to you every week. And so, it really is the no matter what standard, and it's really helping to rise above everything else. And so, man, just awesome stuff. And brother, I appreciate you, man. Amazing call. Thank you for really adding a ton of value and being a true expert mentor and helping everybody out today. For all of you guys on the call or listening to the recording with us in the Facebook group, please share. This is really important. Please share, the one thing or the biggest takeaway that you're going to take away and implement into your business right away. And also give some love for Daniel. He really brought the value for all of us today, and really appreciate it. And, for any of you listening in, tuning in, if you want to jump in and add value to the community and be an expert mentor, hit me up and we'll definitely get you in the lineup moving forward. Daniel, I know you got an event to jump over to. Go spend some time with Mr. Reese and Mr. Daniel Beer, and appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you, John. Appreciate your time.